Hello everybody, welcome to today's video. Today we are going to talk about what are some of the challenges that folks face while preparing for GMAT. Well, I'm not going to talk about the technical challenges, that is, hey, how difficult a question is or how easy a question is. Right? On an average, majority of the GMAT questions range between average to easy difficulty level, right? But still folks struggle a lot to get good scores on GMAT, right? I personally believe that it has a lot to do with not the intellectual capability, but rather, hey, how you approach the exam itself, right? So I will talk about the challenges and also I will talk about some methods that you can implement to crack this exam. Let me talk about the first one to get started with. That is, there is absolutely no peer pressure when you prepare for an exam like GMAT. If you are preparing for CAT and if you are at your university, a lot of your friends will be asking you, hey, how did your mock examination go? How is your preparation going? Right? Are you on the right track? Your parents might keep calling you and asking you, hey, are you preparing well? A lot of folks around you are probably pressurizing you. I would rather not use the word pressure, but I would rather use the word social support, right? Because a lot of folks are helping you prepare as well. At the same time, not just asking questions, but they are helping you prepare, get to the right resources, make sure that you are staying motivated. And this social support is completely out of the sync when you are preparing for GMAT, right? You are in your office, you won't let your office colleagues know that you are preparing for GMAT. Probably that's not the right thing to do. So you won't tell them. If there is an office gathering, if there is a party on a Friday evening, you still will say, yes, I'm coming to the meeting, I'm coming to the party, as if there is nothing happening in your personal life, right? So that's a huge problem. There is nobody to help you with, hey, this is the examination material that you need to prepare. Hey, these are the issues that you are facing with the exam. Why don't you go probably focus a little more on quant or verbal or sentence correction, so on and so forth. So these social support aspects are completely out of the sync. Now, what can you do? I would highly recommend you get some kind of a small study group going. It could be 3, 4, 5 people. Don't go beyond 5, then it becomes a mess. But have a group of 3, 4 or 5 people within your social circle, identify through LinkedIn, or if there are folks commenting on this particular video, identify those folks, reach out to them on LinkedIn and start creating a small group so that you can support each other and you can motivate each other. It will go a long way. You can start sharing resources. You can start explaining to each other what are some of the small doubts that you might have. You don't need to go all the time to the GMAT prep forums, right? These individual support systems will be super helpful in you actually cracking that examination. So please give it a try. That's number one, challenge and solution. The second challenge that I'm going to talk about is even more trickier, right? For example, if you are preparing for CAT, you know that hey, 99% or 99.99 percentile is required for you to crack a CAT or IMA interview or IMB interview or IMC interview, right? Or any other top B school interview. Now, with respect to GMAT, you cannot come to that kind of a target, right? Folks will say that, hey, even if you get 650 or you get 750 or 780, doesn't matter. You can still get to the best college possible. GMAT is only a small component. That narrative is super nice to hear. So even if you are not performing very well, you won't discount your chances of getting into a good school, which is not the case with CAT. CAT, you know you need to score well. So probably you will exert yourself a little more into the situation. But in GMAT, that's not going to happen. So what do you need to do? You at least set a clear target for yourself. By the way, I'm saying it out, guys, that hey, in the last couple of years, like last 2 to 3 years, majority of the Indians that got into the top business schools in US have on average a score of 720 plus. Right? So if you are having a score lower than that, you need to improve it. But the first thing that you need to set yourself is a target. Set a target and try to achieve that target. If that target is not coming through maximum points in English, maximize your score in math. Have a strategy that, hey, I need to probably maximize my sentence correction over critical reasoning, over math. Have some kind of structure so that you can actually target that specific score and you can chalk out a plan to get there. So, have that clear target. Now, what happens if you don't get that target? Give it another shot, right? Give it one more shot, probably 2 or 3 attempts. What you are telling to the university in this process is that, hey, I might not have reached my target score, but I set a target and I'm trying to reach there. This is not about, this is my intellectual ability. I'm a person who is committing to a target and I am trying to push myself continuously through 3-4 attempts. Right? So it narrates a different story altogether to the admissions committee. One single number, having a good number is one thing, but if you don't have a good number, you have to show your personality a lot more. And having multiple attempts will help. And for having multiple attempts, you need to know what is the target that you are setting yourself, at least in your mind. Now that target could come from, hey, these are the top 10 universities, so I need a minimum of 720. Or if you don't have that top schools criteria, then you can say that I need at least 700 or at least 650. Stick to what you are getting in your original mocks, the first 1 or 2 mocks, and see if you can increase that score by 100 points, 50 points, so on and so forth. Right? It's an iterative process, but you cannot not have a target. That is number 2. Okay. Now moving on to the third challenge with respect to the GMAT. There is a very interesting statistic that we got to know when we were running actually a GMAT preparation course a few years back, that 90% of the folks who enroll in a GMAT prep course, paying 25,000 rupees, 30,000 rupees, 50,000 rupees, they don't even take the exam. 90% of the folks who actually pay for these courses, they don't take the exam. That is mind-boggling, right? Why would you pay so much money and not even take the exam? The reason is that, hey, this requires a lot of self-motivation. Nobody is pushing you. You don't have a target. So everything depends intrinsically on you. And in those situations, more often than not, we give it a pass. We say that, hey, I'll do it tomorrow. If there is some challenging thing that is right in front of you, you tend to postpone it. And that's the reason why 90% of the folks continue to postpone the exam and they don't even give that exam. Because it's not mandatory for you to give GMAT, right? If you don't get into a B school, it's fine. That's not a mandatory thing for you. That is one of the biggest reasons, that self-motivation is the primary driver, and a lot of us don't know how to channel that effort into the right direction. Now, there are a bunch of ways in which probably you can self-motivate yourself, but these are some of the ways which worked for me. The first one being, I had a specific timetable for 3 months. I was a working professional when I was preparing for my GMAT. I had a very hectic 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and then after that I used to have office calls. So the day was entirely blocked by different meetings, office work and bunch of things. So I used to make sure that prepare 2 hours or 3 hours of time for this particular exam early in the morning from 5 to 8 a.m. every single day. All it takes you guys is like, you just need to get started. If you do it for one day, you do it for the second day, you'll continue to do it from the third day. Block out that 2 to 3 hours and just spend that time. Sit in front of the GMAT book and start solving questions. Setting out yourself that chunk of time is one of the very good ways for you to motivate yourself and also push yourself to that examination. Right? Now, the other way which can also help you with this is that study group idea that I was talking about initially. Your study group, look out for the group who are planning to apply for the same admission round. Right? If you are trying to apply for the fall 2023 round, you know that you need to prepare and give your GMAT in the next 2-3 months. So commit with a group which has similar timelines and are open at least with respect to how they are preparing for this examination. As I mentioned, guys, this exam is not just about your intellectual capabilities. This has a lot more of your approach towards an exam, and that is one of the primary reasons why business schools, top business schools like Harvard, Stanford, INSEAD, London Business School, any other business school that you take, they love to evaluate you on your GMAT score because they also know that, hey, this is not just about raw intellectual abilities. Right? So just to take a step back and summarize, we talked about 3 major challenges. Right? The first one being, hey, there is no social support, or you can call it, there is no peer pressure. The best way for you to address it, have a small social group or small study group, which you can probably use to bounce off ideas, make sure that you motivate among yourselves. That's number one. The second challenge is that a majority of the folks don't even know what is the target score for them. Right? So have a specific target score and make sure you are getting there. If you don't get there in the first attempt, it is completely fine. Give the second, third, fourth attempt. Okay, that is again super important, having a target. The third thing, this entire exercise of GMAT preparation is a self-motivation game. One trick that worked very well for me is having that bunch of, or having that chunks of time dedicated to this on a daily basis. No matter what, every single day, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. dedicated for GMAT. If you do it for 2 days, 3 days, I'm not even talking about 15 days. You do it for 2 or 3 days, it becomes a habit. Again, repeating guys, 90% of the folks who actually enroll for a GMAT course in like organizations like Jamboree or any other thing, they don't even give GMAT. So this is the biggest reason. I hope you understand that these are the primary challenges for all of you. It is not about solving the actual question. So give yourself some kind of methods and some kind of processes so that these things are set and you can go crack that GMAT examination. Please do let me know what is your GMAT score if you are able to use any of these methods. And I would also request you to actually comment or reach out to the folks who are commenting on this particular video thread so that you can together form a study group. Please also like this video and subscribe to the channel so that we can reach out to the more people through this video itself. Thank you guys, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye bye. Take care.